Technology has made it much easier for us to communicate. At Global Atlantic, where I work, every desk has a video camera and every room is set up for video conferencing. In fact, everyone in this room has a video camera in their pocket. And functionalities like Zoom and Microsoft Teams have demonstrated the value of this easier communication to business. But compliance often prevents us financial institutions from effectively using these tools. Instead, we spend hours trying to craft an email to summarize the tone of an in-person conversation, or worse, we just don't use the information. Theta Lake makes the compliance review of video communication cheaper, faster, and more accurate. For financial institutions, this can often mean opening up those channels of communication. At Global Atlantic, we have initiatives whereby we allow the wholesalers and agents in our fields to record videos with certain sales tidbits or useful pieces of information they want to share with the broader community. Imagine a video about how the potential Fed rate cut could be used to sell an annuity product. The problem is compliance review takes weeks, and that video reaches the other agents after the Fed has actually cut rates. We think Theta Lake can help us solve this problem, and it can open new channels of communication for financial institutions. In fact, we honestly think they can help us better review the recorded traditional voice calls that we have in our business. It is my pleasure to introduce Devin Redmond, CEO and founder of Theta Lake.
Thank you, Jeff, and thanks everyone for having us here. I actually wanted to start by thanking the lab, thanking all of our mentors, thanking the chaperones who've been so fantastic. I also wanted to congratulate the peers and colleagues that have been part of the class and have given you guys so much great information. I think that this has been a fantastic experience for us. So I'm Devin Redmond, co-founder, CEO. We do compliance AI in a digital-first world. What that means is compliance monitoring, supervision, archiving for your modern collaboration tools. Everything that could use a video like Zoom all the way to social video and things like YouTube and Vimeo. Quickly, in terms of the background of the team, experienced bunch, decades of experience building compliance programs, technologies, even companies. Well-funded. We're also working with dozens of financial institutions across wealth, banking, and insurance in the US and the UK, both inside and outside of the lab. And I think notable to mention also, we just received a Gartner Cool Vendor, and we've already made the list of the Global RegTech 100. So, framing the premise of the company. In essence, I would cue the visuals for some interesting use cases to think about. The reality is, for us, having been in archiving and compliance for decades of our career, we understand that that legacy technology stack is not well suited for the modern communication channels you have, right? If you think about the archive and the e-discovery systems, they're largely built around email, things that were delivered in the 90s, early 2000s, not really designed for the scenario where electronic communication can now be shown on a screen, can be shared in a screen, can be transferred in the chat underneath the screen, not to mention the other liabilities that can be in the background or the foreground of what you're doing inside a video. So at the same time that that legacy technology stack is not suited for the modern compliance environment, the communication channels you have, the regulatory environment has also changed. It's not just about storing and keeping things in an archive in the back end. Ultimately, what you need to be worried about is the reality that there's an expectation of proactivity now. Whether you're thinking about cybersecurity, whether you're thinking about data privacy, it's about understanding what's in the communications that you actually have. That changes the focus and puts more accountability and pressure in terms of being proactive in how you handle your regulatory obligations as well as your corporate compliance obligations. So that's what we really do. We do last mile compliance AI. Basically, we use machine learning, natural language processing to help you detect risks that can happen inside what is spoken, shown, shared, written in a chat, or even shared in a document inside of a modern collaboration channel. What we do with that then is put that in the hands of an AI-assisted workflow that helps compliance teams move much more quickly through that review process and be more accurate and consistent in how they actually do the review itself. Three key areas of technology, what you'd call the secret sauce and where we have our patents, are visual medium coverage, our ability to do an assisted detection, so help you find potential regulatory issues, potential common corporate compliance mistakes inside of the content, and then give you a visual workflow that actually allows those teams, again, to be more effective and efficient in how they do compliance review, speeding up that entire process. All of that to really aid ROI. So maybe not building LaGuardia, but similar concept. There's only so much you can build at scale with old tools and old processes. What we provide is a modern compliance infrastructure and foundation that allows you to really build out a new compliance program that does things like optimize your headcount for scale, gives you the ability to remove some redundant tools, and really improve manual processes. So whether you think about the top line driving opportunity and the ROI from being able to do more by using personalized video, by using collaboration tools more fully, or whether you think about the very tactical ROI that we can bring, which saves a tremendous amount of review time, effort, and cost in that process. Lastly, I'll talk about the use cases that we've distilled in the market, and in particular with our chaperones in the lab. Two big buckets of use case. First, collaboration. So thinking about everything from voice recording and improving the process of doing compliance on voice recording, to dealing with the reality of the rollout of new tools like Zoom, or upgrading to Microsoft Teams, or using things like Ring Central, where you actually need to be able to do risk assessments, not just from a compliance and a regulatory perspective, but equally important, actually doing that from a DLP perspective. The most robust channel that you have to share information, going unmonitored and being opaque to the rest of your organization from a security as well as a compliance perspective, is not okay. The other big bucket for us that we've distilled out of this is the concept of digital transformation. So clearly, big buzzword that you can use out there, but the use cases that resonate with a lot of people around personalization are the increase in use of social video, video for sales training, video for personalized use for your reps or your customer service folks to actually send out to clients. And ultimately, in that environment, what we're able to do is help the advertising pre-review and the compliance review of that content to make sure that it's suitable. All this came from our interaction with our chaperones and sponsors, as well as the other organizations. Basically, what we help you do is detect these types of risks and then make it easy for reviewers to actually deal with that content, whether it's in the visual portion or whether it's actually something that's been spoken, and giving you a better view of being able to work with that beyond just doing search on a transcript. So with that, I want to thank everybody for your time and patience, and hopefully we'll see you in the demo room. Happy to show you how some of this works and give you some really entertaining use cases to think about.